Congratulations, you are about to learn just how simple it is to create incredible works of art using your sewing machine and the Octi-Hoops. These handles slide into any of 8 sides of each of the hoop frames, forcing you to use proper posture, preventing hand injury that can be a danger with other embroidery hoops. Suddenly, you feel as though you are coloring rather than embroidering. These handles will also not allow you to accidentally pick up the embroidery hoop, eliminating the risk of breaking needles. Hello, my name is Clare Rowley, the inventor of Creative Feet Presser Feet and now the Octi-Hoop Kit. I hope you enjoy embroidering as much as I do. There was a time when I used to fall asleep at my sewing machine doing this, so be careful, it can become addictive. You may find that hours have passed and you are still at your sewing machine. So it's important for you to stop and take a break, move your hands around and look across the room so that your eyes don't start to burn from the fact that you just keep staring and staring and staring at your beautiful creations that you're going to create with thread. It is the most relaxing thing I have ever done. Nothing has ever inspired me or made me feel more relaxed than painting with thread. I know that you're going to find the same thing is true, but you have to try it. So you got to get the hoop out and choose the design that you want to embroider. You can trace using the markers that they have available in different colors, or you can print it out using your inkjet printer. And we do have these designs on our website so that you can just go right online right now and print it out. I hope that you enjoy learning how to paint with thread and enjoy the Octi-Hoops as much as I do. Preparing the hoop for embroidery is simple. Choose the frame you want to use and then trace around it onto the SIA stabilizer that was wrapped around the cardboard square inside the kit when you opened it. Then cut away the excess stabilizer and save the scraps for patching the hoop later. You may find a rotary cutter is not as easy to use as scissors because you will be cutting 8 corners to have a piece properly shaped to fit the hoop. Once cut, peel off the release liner to expose the sticky surface of the SIA stabilizer and adhere it to the specially designed surface on the back side of the frame. This surface is designed to hold the stabilizer while allowing it to be removed for ease in repositioning the stabilizer until it is taut and tight as a drum. Your fabrics will then stick to the SIA. Iron clear fuse to the back of t-shirt materials to prevent stretching. You are provided with an 11-inch square piece of our SDSV stabilizer that allows you to print directly on it or to trace over your designs that you want to embroider from things like coloring books or even as simple as your wallpaper. Tape it down with the stabilizer side facing up onto a piece of paper and then print directly on it. This will help you not only know what color to embroider as you work through the process, but also it will help you to know that your embroidery is going to be positioned straight and in the exact spot you want it to embroider. In this situation, we are using a piece of the clear dry cover-up which is found inside your kit. Manipulate the fabric so that we can place it into the hoop without accidentally embroidering through the back of the shirt. You only have to stick the area that you're going to embroider onto the SIA. Choosing your thread colors is simple. You simply match to the template that you've already created. Use a thread stand to deliver threads to the sewing machine to prevent your threads from shredding, splitting, or breaking while embroidering. I prefer to use the stretch needle, especially on stretch fabrics. This needle is thinner, bringing the needle closer to the hook of the sewing machine, decreasing your chances of skip stitches. I have found that you don't need to, but if you so choose to, drop your feed dogs before beginning. I recommend nylon lingerie thread in the bobbin, white for most of your embroidery, but there will be times when we're going to use the same thread, color, and type that we use in the needle in the bobbin. I am removing my machine's snap-on adapter and presser foot to begin the embroidery process. The 2 green handles are designed to slide into the holes on top of all 3 of the Octi-Hoop frames. The space between the supports on the frame are designed for your needle to pass under without the risk of damage. Slide the hoop underneath the sewing machine needle and then lower the presser foot, or you'll end up with knots on the back. Lower the needle and bring it back up again. Pull on the needle thread to pull your bobbin thread up from underneath. Turn the sewing machine handle toward you to lower the needle down into the template. Hold your fingers onto the threads and begin sewing for about 7 or 8 stitches. And then lower the needle. Take the time to cut the threads so they don't distract you while you're embroidering, and now you're ready to start embroidering. As you're sewing, try your hands in different positions so that you can get a feel for how you're moving the hoop around in left and right and up and down. Remember that you don't have to leave your hands in one location. You can move them around depending on what you're doing. Change the positions whenever you're starting to feel awkward. A lot of people when doing embroidery will tend to keep their hands in the same position until you've contorted your body into one of the most uncomfortable positions you'll ever be in. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that you're always sitting in a comfortable way with your elbows resting on the table so that you're not using too much upper body. Remember that the handles are there to help you. Now my hands are off the handles and on the frame, constantly changing my hands positions, always resting my arms on the sewing table so that I'm not hurting myself. And if you're starting to feel as though your back is hurting, that means you're hunching over and trying to watch the sewing machine needle. We don't want to look at the needle. Now you're going to notice I'm changing. I'm going to put a foot on so that you can see that we can, if we want to, use a presser foot. Sometimes it's easier to get around thicker areas of thread like I'm doing here with the outline stitching. We've changed our bobbin thread to a black bobbin thread so that there's less chance of the bobbin thread coming up to the top and showing. Don't be too concerned with how accurate you are on your outline stitching. Sometimes it actually adds flavor if you're not perfect. If you've noticed a lot of the artwork today, they have a lot of going outside the lines. Going outside the lines is only something you know. Nobody else knows what the design is supposed to look like. I'm going to take the outline stitch and go outside of the lines. Because we have the dry cover-up underneath the SDSV stabilizer, if I were to do my outline stitches, I might risk tearing them when removing the dry cover-up. So before I begin, I'm going to stop and cut away the excess SDSV and dry cover-up. Once it's completely removed, then we'll go ahead, and if you want to, you can actually draw using a wash-away marker first, or you can just freestyle it. This is my way of showing you that, yes, you can embroider outside of the lines. You do not have to use the templates if you don't want to. It's also really important that you try never to lift the hoop while you're sewing. So apply your hand, make sure your hands are always on top of the fabric so that you're not pulling up from underneath. Cut your bobbin threads on a regular basis so that you don't have carryover threads getting into your way or from underneath. Using a pair of embroidery scissors, carefully cut, making sure that you do not cut through any of your actual stitching. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove the SIA from the fabric, and then we're going to pull the clear fuse off the back of the garment. And notice that the SIA is not actually stuck to the shirt, but rather it's stuck to the clear fuse, so it comes away clean, and your work is beautiful when done without any stretching of the fabric.